Let's do AM Talk now when my guest seated. Mr. Kwabena Kokofu is a private legal practitioner, former member of parliament, and a member of the New Patriotic Party, the NPP. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
I understand you're going for chairmanship of your party in the Ashanti region, correct?
Let me greet your cherished viewers first, yourself and the entire crew.
Thank you.
Yes, to the president of the land and all our leaders. I will shudder not to answer you.
Oh,
now.
So it's not true?
Pardon?
It's not true that you are thinking of running for the chairmanship of your party in the Ashanti region?
We haven't opened proposed yet.
Oh, okay.
In August, we will go to...
August is just next month?
Yeah, 26, okay. 27.
So you've not said you would unseat Chairman Wontumi?
We will go to Cape Coast. Then from there, the party will make decisions, set timelines and all those things. Okay. And indeed, consultations are going on. And I can say about 95% done. And if all things being equal, I will run and I will win. Yeah.
But you've heard what Chairman Wontumi said last week?
No.
That he was going to make you lose, you'll cry?
No, I was out of town. I'd been in Cape Town, South Africa, and Johannesburg. I returned only last Sunday.
So you haven't heard?
No.
Okay.
And I do not want to hear.
Okay. But he seems very strong on the ground.
Are you sure? Well, yesterday we had our 25th regional annual conference as the party constitution dictates in Kumasi at KNUST. Yes, the gallant members of the party in the region. We had an occasion to interact with one another. And yes.
So you're winning?
If I run.
Are you going to run?
God permits. Why not?
We wish you well.
Yeah.
Also joining us is a private legal practitioner and a member of the NDC, Mr. Abraham Amalba. Good morning to you.
Good morning,
You're not running
Mama
for
V.
any office. You're not running for any party.
Well,
office,
I don't know why he's not being forthright. You either want to stand or you are not standing.
Oh, but he's confirmed it.
But it had to take him so long. And you see, people, the delegates on the ground will be looking out for bold people and people who are forthright. But if you are not sure, you are here, you are there, you are running all over the place, they are watching you. Maybe when you present yourself, they will say, oh, this is not the candidate that we want. But I think that he will, for me, in my mind, he will be a much better chairman for the region than Nchubo Isiako.
Really?
I think
Why is that?
You need a person who is sober in terms of the way he reflects on issues. You don't need a boisterous person. You need somebody who is accommodating. He has those qualities, and I don't think that the other person has it. But so I'll root for him, not because he's here. I've chastised him and I've also given him some praises. So it tells you that.
But those qualities that you seem to be condemning, isn't that perhaps won them the election in the Ashanti region?
The Ashanti region is always their stronghold, indeed. If you even put me there as chairman, which is an aberration anyway, they will still win.
The NPP, you mean?
They will still win. It will be the eighth wonder of the world, you know. So they will still win. So, but you need people like this who would bring everybody together, and not a chairman who will go out there and be, you know, boisterous,
but who is complaining?
People over there.
If opposition is complaining, that's no complaints.
If opposition is complaining, that's no complaints. No, I think that...
He's not chairman of your party.
I think that even within the party, was it him? No, Collins and Tim, eh? He attacked one of their MPs in the region there. Yeah, it was Collins. That doesn't augur well. As a chairman of a party, you are the father of the people there. So I think I'll leave it to them, but he should be forthright next time and let the people know that he's coming.
Let's mind our business now. Let's talk about the issues that we're here to talk about. Ras Mubarak has been in the news because, you know, as you well know, he's admitted fixing some spying device in his office as well as a tracking device in his vehicle. A former National Youth Authority's chief executive, Ras Mubarak, now member of parliament for Kumbungo, has confirmed that he also fixed an audio-visual recording device in his office when he served in the capacity in 2013. He said this in response to claims by the current acting acting NYA chief executive, Emmanuel Asigri, who said he discovered a bagging device in his office, in his official vehicle, which Mr. Mubarak previously used. Mr. Asigri, who said he intercepted the device when he sent the vehicle for servicing, questioned why Mr. Mubarak failed to inform officials of the authority of the bagging device. But Mr. Ras Mubarak in a statement said he also installed a similar device in the NYA office but removed it after the NDC lost power. And as you may well know, Mr. Asigri was speaking on News 5. We'll bring you that insert when we're ready to go with that. But on the back of this is coming because Alhaji Inusa Hussaini, we know, also installed a similar thing, even though he insists that it was not a complete installation, so it wasn't supposed to be working. But the feedback from the other end, you know, seemed quite different from what he said. But this bargain thing, is it new or this is something that officials do? I'll start with you, Mr. Malba.
Let me start by saying good morning to your viewers, wherever they may be. When you talk about bargain, a person cannot bag himself. No. You bag other people so as to get information, but you cannot bag yourself. And when you look at all the circumstances, people were taking precautionary measures to protect themselves. Yunus Hussaini did that, although it has, according to him, it didn't work, but he did that because there were threats on his life when he was fighting Galamsey. Currently, the Minister for Lands is also talking about threats on his life. Officials of the ministry are talking about threats on their life. So, the first law of nature is actually self-preservation. And that's why a madman, a mad person, will not just cross the road, but will have to look and ensure that the road is safe before he crosses, because indeed, that person must live even to continue to be mad. So if people are doing these things, that does not amount to bargain. They are only protecting themselves against, and even in our homes we have CCTVs. We do that a lot. So the only aberration probably will be because they did not inform the next occupants of the offices. That for me is where we will say that there has been some fault. You either remove your gadgets when you are going, or you inform the next occupant of the office. But if you've been in government, and the nature of our transitions in Ghana is more or less like a coup d'etat. In fact, you don't have the right frame of mind to even be thinking about, before you even leave your office, on this, when the elections are called and you lose, as an occupant of an office, the kind of pressure that is brought to bear on you by the other side, you will not even have time to be thinking of putting a calendar here, let me remove this picture here, let me remove that there. It is more or less like a coup d'etat that has taken place. And I'm not just talking about this government, but our transitions have always been that ugly, that difficult. And occupants in the office will not even have the right frame of mind to even be thinking about, did I put this one here? You even want to just pack out and leave the place early. So I can understand them as officials occupying office and look at the transition, which at times can be acrimonious, and sometimes it can be you can be so pressurized that sometimes you even forget some of the things that you hang in your office. But I think that going forward, nothing also stops the current administration, who have also come into office, to sweep the whole room before you take over. I'm sure when you enter into a new house or a new room, you paint the place, you clear everything, you ensure that you are safe. Nothing stops them from also taking the precautionary measures to ensure that all that is in the office is secured, one, two, and that everything in that office is something which is not injurious to them. They should clean the place, simply. They can also do that and ensure that these things don't happen. But I've heard people say that we should charge them for breach of privacy, breach of confidence. And I ask myself, How can you charge somebody for breach of privacy and confidence in a public office? That is a public office.
But the fact that you installed something yourself, I mean, this is private. And if you hear both gentlemen, they say this is something that they personally did. And the fact that they didn't disclose, isn't that breach?
But you cannot charge them for breach of privacy. I'm saying that it's just like saying that you are going to charge somebody for breach of privacy at a Makola market. It's a public office. Privacy, public does not come together.
Not even the fact that you install a piece of device
in a public
that you didn't disclose.
In a public office.
But you didn't meet the office that way. You didn't meet the office
That's
that
what I'm
way.
saying.
You didn't make the public
that was
space that way.
For safety reasons, to ensure that the person is safe in his office. Nothing stops you from also ensuring that the office in which you are safe in it.
I want us to, Mr. Kokufu, you come in, but I want us to listen to the current acting National Youth Authority Chief Executive, Mr. Emmanuel Asigri, as he made these revelations on Newsfile last Saturday.
You know, I mean, it is not only around Inus who did this type of a thing. Me sitting here, I have suffered this personally.
You have?
Yes. My official SUV had a tracking device in it, and nobody in the authority knew until it created a problem for the vehicle. The vehicle went for servicing and came. We were to move the vehicle for some last services for me to do some tour of the country. The vehicle won't start. They tried all the things that they needed to do, it won't start. We brought people, the experts from Toyota Ghana. They came, tried it, they couldn't.
When was this?
This was in, I think, March.
March of this year?
Yeah, March of this year.
Okay.
I think just barely a month after I had taken over office. So when it happened, we had to go back to the dealership, and they came and towed the vehicle. So upon going through it, studying it, and I have pictures of it on my other phone. It's in the vehicle now.
Okay.
I'll show it to you after this whole program. They detected a tracking device and then called to talk to the director of procurement. He had no knowledge about this whole thing. So they brought it to my attention. Then we discussed this thing at management level. Then the director of IT said, well, I am aware of something like that. And the reason why he owned up to, you know, indicate that this did happen was that when my predecessor,
Ras Mubarak.
yes, brought the people who came to introduce the device, as the IT director, they came to his office to use his machines. And the vehicle, according to him, was driving around the Swan Lake area and they were monitoring it. That is how come he could recall. So you do such a thing, you don't even tell the transport officer, you don't tell anyone. And this vehicle stayed at the workshop for about 3 months.
But this tracking is only to track the whereabouts of the vehicle.
No, but I mean, these are some of these are the things we are talking of.
Is it not to protect, I mean, when it is stolen or something?
He was the one using it. If he did it for that purposes, inform the people you were working with. So that at least when we were told by the dealership that this is what was happening, I mean, this is what had happened to the vehicle.
Your suspicion is that
it wouldn't have come as a surprise.
Your suspicion is that for the period you used it until it got into that trouble, you were tracked.
Fortunately, I think I used it for just about 10 days. When I asked that they had to go service it for me to be able to do a tour of our facilities around the country, and then we had this problem. And me, I don't know what, you know, whatever it is beyond tracking the movement of the vehicle would have been put there to get me.
And that's Mr. Emmanuel Asigri there. He's acting CEO of the National Youth Authority. Mr. Kokufu, is this a big deal?
Well, it could be. Could be a big deal.
But it's not, is it?
You see, my colleague was trying to explain bargain and all that. They say the same action could be bargain. Of course, you install it for yourself, for your protection, for your own need. That is one thing. If beyond that, another person comes in or another person occupies the same place without his or her knowledge, then it turns out to be bargain. You might have done it unconsciously anyway. You do not mean that you want to sniper some information from him or her or the occupant of that office. But the mere fact that situations have changed, circumstances have changed, then it becomes bargain. Now, here we are. Our private residents, our private capacity, our private offices and all those things. And then public office, the dichotomy. Okay, you can do everything in your own. In my own private office, I've installed all kinds of gadgets or whatever for my own protection and all others. And in my house, I may be able to, or I've done so. But when you get to public office, is it the duty of the security agencies, the apparatus, the national security operatives, who are supposed to do these things on your behalf if you really need such a defense, such a protection? Is it that the case? If that is the case, why do we, public officials, go beyond them or go behind them to do things on our own? Is it the case that we do not trust the security agencies, even when we are in power and absolute control of power? We do not trust the national security apparatus. These are questions that are begging for answers.
Is this something that is beyond the individual's capacity? I mean, do you have to go to the extent of notifying national security that this is something you want to do in your office?
Of course, it's a public place. And you are not going to be there in perpetuity. I mean, it's not permanent. It's a public place. And even if you do that, or even if you have done that, what prevents you from clearing the whole place before you leave, or informing whoever is coming to succeed you?
How about the excuse of or the explanation that you are always in a hurry? I mean, if you look at the way we change over
transition,
you hardly have good time.
The law is
to
clear.
pack in.
The law is clear. It says 1 month to general elections. In this case, that is 7th November.
But that's not the reality.
I'm coming.
We all know what the reality is.
So we are all trampling over the law. If we were going by the law, by the rules, by the regulations, we wouldn't have come here. It says 1 month to elections. The certain president and his appointees must prepare handing over notes and then give account of whatever they came to meet and what they are leaving behind to the Administrator General's office. So it tells you, preparing handing over notes, you must then start looking at pictures that have been hung on the walls, whatever thing that's been put there. Do you know some people go into public office and they go with their own set of furniture? It's possible. People do. So when they are leaving, they can take them back if they so wishes. So if we can remember to take whatever is in our drawers, you may have some money in there. You will remember, then take it off in your safe, everything. But you cannot remember that you put a device out there for your own protection and all that. In any case, I do not find anything so strange and wrong with an office occupant, public official, trying to protect the system. One of the reasons the Honorable Member
Ras Mubarak
said the cleaners that come into the office to do their cleaning, you do not know when they will come and what they can do and all kinds of things. So if something has been tampered with, these devices will be able to trace. And my colleague was saying it's a public office, so there's no privacy and all kinds of. But we have confidentiality, confidential letters and everything in public offices. We have meetings, recordings, and all those things that need not go beyond the officialdom. So the privacy is always there, whether in public or in private. It is there. That is why we have these codes and all kinds of things to run with. So going forward, only God knows how many of them have been running.
How many do you know? You guys are in power now, so
I do not know.
You're revealing all the things that you've come to discover.
Well, of course, as we move on, and bet you, it will not be fair enough to say it is the outgoing government's intention to do so on officials coming in and all those things. It might have happened all over, nobody cared, until my minister at Lands and Natural Resources discovered it. At times, initially, my colleague NDCs were saying it's a fabrication and he did all those things because he's under pressure from this Galamsey thing, so he just wanted to do. They were running with it. They were running with it. I was on one of the platforms, the television station, and my colleague NDC was so heavy on that. And lo and behold,
that what?
That Honorable Amewu orchestrated the whole thing. That he fabricated. It was out there. The very day I left for South Africa, I was on a program. I can mention the TV station to you.
But we know what the facts are now.
Yes, of course. So then, what is the person going to say? I was with the former Ashanti Regional Secretary, my own brother.
The person who you say was claiming?
Yes.
Okay, but
he was so heavy and so...
But we were not privileged to hear him, say what,
yes, of course, but then my colleague is aware.
So let's stay with the fact that we have a...
He's not here to defend himself.
Yes, so that's why I did not mention his name. But the fact remains that something had gone on, something that is outside the norm. National security has the right and has the power to give protection to all public officers. So if, for a reason, I feel insecure and I need to be protected, then they are the place to go. So they will do things and do it officially. When I'm out of office, then they will have to sweep it. But he was right to say, what prevents the incoming officer to cause for sweeping of the whole place? And again, national security has a duty to do that. So we cannot circumvent the powers or the whatever with the national security and then do things on our own.
So how does it work? When one is appointed, do they just pack their things and just go and settle down in the office? Or do we know if there are routine checks or anything that is done within the space before they settle down? Well,
normally there must be a routine check. What is the furniture like? What is all that? The lavatory, the washrooms, I mean.
So the physical things.
The physical things. And these things ought to have been done. I do not know why they were not.
You see, the chief director is always there to guide the incoming minister. The chief director is a permanent secretary. The one who is going, the outgoing minister will hand over to the chief director. There's an inventory taken. He leaves the office. The one coming will also go to the chief director. The chief director may even send him around the physical building and show him whatever it is. That's the extent to which it goes. But as to whether the chief director has even got the competence to even go into security issues to know whether something is stuck somewhere or not, that's a different matter. And maybe that is where national security may have to come in. But I'm surprised at my brother Asigri. Tracking device in a car should be an issue.
Oh, to the extent that it was not disclosed.
Yeah.
He himself said that there was an IT person who took part in the process. He himself said it there.
Well, he didn't say it as you've just said it. He said he was
that
aware.
Nobody was aware.
He was
but
aware
I'm saying that the IT person there,
because they used his office for something.
How did I know, sitting here, how did I know that an IT person in the office was involved? It meant that the IT person was involved. That's how he got to know. If they used his office, he was involved. In any case, if you listen to Ras Mubarak, he said that, he also ran for MP. And at a certain point, even before, long before 7th January, he had handed over to his deputy. He mentioned the name of the deputy. Because he had to leave to go and do campaigning, he had handed over the office and the car to his deputy. Now, when you talk about bargain, you are talking about a deliberate attempt, surreptitiously, to put an equipment in an office or somewhere to get information about your neighbor or your opponent. That, for me, is bargain. So, let's zero in on this. Can anybody say that Ras Mubarak knew that the NDC was going to lose the elections, 2, that Emmanuel Asigri was going to be the one who was going to be appointed to that office, and for that matter, he should back him?
Oh.
So, in law, and he is a lawyer, the intention must coincide with the menstrual. The action must coincide with the menstrual. The action of the person must coincide with the mindset. So, and that's the mindset I'm now questioning. Would anybody say that the mindset of Ras Mubarak was to bag Imran Asigri on this matter?
No.
And that he knew, Ras Mubarak knew that the NDC was going to lose the elections and incoming would be the MPP. So even if it's not Asigri, I'm going to bag any MPP appointee, including he, Kokofu, in that office. So you cannot fly with this. You cannot fly with it because the actions of the man must coincide with his mindset. And can you tell me that Ras Mubarak put the tracker in the car knowing that an Akufo-Addo appointee was going to come and take over that car?
But he knew before he left office
that what?
That Akufo-Addo's appointee would take over.
Hey.
Yes, of course. When the elections had
I'm saying
called,
that no.
When the elections was called and Nana Akufo-Addo was pronounced the winner, everybody should know.
You knew
Nana's appointee or the president appointee will be occupying the office.
We are talking about Ras Mubarak.
No, it's not.
And I'm saying that the man handed over long before the declaration of elections. Because he had left. That
was not official. That was not official. He was still drawing his salaries. He was still.
We are talking about a particular issue.
No, he was still drawing his salary.
We are talking about a particular issue. He had handed over the car to his deputy.
That is not.
So was he bagging his deputy? Was he tracking his deputy?
That is not the issue. The issue is he was still in office.
So, Mr. Malba, I asked this question before. I'm not sure I got an answer from you. How many of these offices have these devices that we are yet to discover?
Well, I wouldn't know because it depends on an individual appointee, what he thinks he wants to do in his office so as to protect himself. Probably some have not done that. Others might have done. And so it is difficult to point at numbers.
Would you be surprised if more of these revelations came out?
I won't be surprised because even me, if I had my own office as an appointee, I will secure it. And if I'm going to secure it, I will secure it by CCTV. I will secure it. I will secure it by any lawful means. All the things they are doing is not unlawful.
Would you let officers in that department know of what you've done?
I won't. And that's the issue. Why do you bag and why do you track and then you announce to the whole world? Is it not because you are tracking because something is going on which is unacceptable, you cannot lay a finger on, and you are trying to use the device to get the answer? So why then do you tell everybody that, take note, my car, I now have a tracking device? You don't put in a tracking device just for the sake of it. You put the tracking device for the sake of trying to resolve an issue. So why do you then go announcing?
No.
Announcing to people that, look, from now onwards, there's a tracking device.
No.
So for me, what is crucial is the government of the day. They shouldn't sit down to be told again. I've told them this already. You know that two things have happened. There's a Ras Mubarak who has done his own. There is a sweep all your offices. That's all. It's common sense. This one you don't need. We can't be coming here every day to be talking about this. Sweep your office. What's the problem? There are more the problems that. Let's not talk about senior high school, which is now a scholarship for only people who get grade 6 to 1. Let's talk about that. You come and be talking about a car tracker. Does that bring food to the table?
I'll give you 30 seconds and then move on to our next issue.
You see, my colleague wants
to set the place.
My colleague wants to set the questions. You want to be the host, but unfortunate for him, you are in the chair, and you determines what to be discussed. You see, you asked a simple question that. Would we be surprised to hear more of revelations of these things? One, I wouldn't be, because from the going, it looks as if some more may be coming. And then I'll be surprised again if we do not get or activate the national security to do cross-check all over the situation. You see, my brother is trying to justify it by saying, it should be in secrecy. You can have a secrecy in putting those devices there. But then, in this case, they said they needed them for protection. And tracking devices on vehicles are announced. I mean, it is done so that the driver himself or whoever knows that the car has a tracking device, and you will be tracked anywhere, any place you go. Then again, if a wrong person takes possession, that person can also be traced. You go to other places that have these CCTV cameras, and you are warned on the wall, says this place is being protected by CCTV camera and all those things. Those are preventive. Those are the things you do by taking precautions, so nothing happens untoward. What you are talking about amounts to investigation or something. I don't know the officials and the minister if they were investigating anything within the offices, and we've not been told as of now that something untoward was going on, and he needed to track those who were doing those things. So now, let us accept one simple thing. Yes, they might not have had wrong intentions, but the action was premised on a wrong basis without recourse to, one, the national security, two, informing whoever is coming to succeed. And I was glad when my senior colleague, Honorable Fuseni, flatly apologized and said it wasn't intentional, something he himself did to protect himself, but he forgot to inform all those that came.
But isn't that what has also been re-echoed
by
even Mr.
Ras
Mubarak here?
Ras Mubarak is not.
He's not what?
He is not in a way apologizing
but the device that he put in his office, he said he dismantled everything.
And then the one on the car.
You didn't listen to the man very well. The man
Okay,
said that
we
he
will not
instructed
agree.
his lawyer, he instructed his driver to remove the gadget
And
in the car.
And did he go back to ask him if he had done so?
Now, I've told you,
let's move on.
look, let's pray that they
move on.
give you an office. And then when you occupy the office, come 2020, we'll see what you will be doing when you go out of office.
Let's look at this issue that is exclusive to us here. So we'll play a soundbite to you. The Health Ministry is reeling under 134 million cedi debts, raising fears it may hamper effective delivery of health services across the country. And the Sector Minister, Kweku Agyeman-Manu, who revealed this exclusively to Joy News, says the situation is making it extremely difficult for the ministry and its agencies to provide Ghanaians with the essential services they require. Ms. Agyeman-Manu says they underestimated the huge financial overhangs the previous government left behind. And he says the NPP administration is contemplating investment options to revive the National Health Insurance Scheme's finances following complaints of arrears by service providers. I want us to take a listen to what he said.
We underestimated the challenges that we were coming to face.
Like
The cost burdens overhang on us. Our ministry alone here is grappling with about 134 million debt overhang. Minus all that is sitting in all the agencies as well. Health insurance, if you go there as we speak, despite the fact that we've managed to reduce the arrears that we had by about 3 months, and we effectively might have paid all the 6 months that we came in, we still have those about 900 million sitting debts to service providers who had actually provided service for subscribers to National Health Insurance. Just last week, we started serious work on how we can restructure, do some reforms, and find some sustainable sources of funding for health insurance to make it begin to work again, just like the President, His Excellency, Nana Akufo-Addo has been advocating. So our first stakeholder consultation conference or workshop was done last weekend. After that, we brought in all former chief executives, people from both sides of the political divide, because health insurance, I've said in Parliament that we should be passionate about it. And it's like when we are soliciting ideas and thinking, there is the good need for us to bring in people from all walks of life, from political divide, and we were there. We gave ourselves this week to try to put together a zero draft the discussions that we had there. And then going forward, next week, we have formed committees that will be meeting to look at the aid memoir, the summary of what we did, and look at how best we will start fine-tuning it. To expand the consultation group now, but that will be like a working document for us to look at. And when that is finished, then I will put it before cabinet for a final approval. The thinking now basically is the fact that we may need to find some good money.
From?
I wouldn't know where it will come from for now, but the thinking is that we may need to find some good money to do one knee-jerk investment into it.
And this 134 million CD debts is what was inherited, and it's making things really difficult. We didn't know this thing that, you know, what had been left behind was that huge. I wonder who wants to start this session. Maybe Mr. Magba. This is a lot of money.
I don't even want to listen to him.
Why not?
I don't want to listen to him.
Why not?
When you inherit a government, you take both assets and liabilities. Did he talk about the NDC leaving the rich hospital for them? Did he talk about the cheap compounds? Did he talk about the good things that the NDC left? Did he think that he was coming to be a minister for milk and honey flowing in his office for him to be drinking? It was for him to solve problems. Is he telling us that when the MPP left in 2000, everything was okay? And that when the NDC took over, they were smiling and the ministers were all smiling? You have to work. Tell him to stop complaining and fix the problems. He told the people of this country, including him and the president, that they have the men to fix the problems.
But it's not alarming that there's this huge debt that was left behind.
Saying that compare that huge debt to the hospitals that we have built. Compare it to the Legon Hospital. Compare it to the 37 military. I said 37 military hospital. The military hospital we are building in Kumasi. Compare that to the cheap compounds. Who says that when you come into government, you come and everything is in place, and all that you need to do is to go around and be nodding your head and be inspecting. Also work. So that when you leave, we can also point, like I'm pointing at certain things. When you also leave, people like him can also point at, oh, this is what we also did.
So this debt is not an issue.
When you talk about debt, are you saying that it was deliberately created? How do you go about building hospitals, building cheap compounds, building facilities, and you expect that you will not go into debt? Because when you tell me that this is debt, I point to those things as investment. So it's either it's half full or it's half empty. He's saying debt. I am also pointing at the hospitals and saying that these are investment. And this investment will outlive us for the next 50 years, and generations will come and utilize it. So tell him to fix it and stop complaining. We didn't bring them in to be complaining. They have been complaining all over 6 months. Why?
This one there, you are here, so I don't
Yes,
have to
I'm
say
here.
anything.
I'm here. And I'm surprised. My colleague did not listen to the minister speaking. The minister was not complaining. He was giving out information. He was volunteering information. Your colleague journalist was asking him specific questions, and he was giving specific answers to those things. And how many times haven't we all heard that the National Health Insurance service providers are on the neck of government to be paid? What he's talking about is not about the fiscal infrastructure you are pointing your fingers up.
You don't get the trust of my argument.
Please, yeah, I'm getting.
You don't get the trust of my
so
argument.
that's why I kept quiet, listening to you.
You don't get the trust because you are misinforming the people.
Please,
the trust of my argument
please
is that
let him make
you
his
take
point.
both profits
Let him
and
make
losses,
I
and you
think
deal with the losses as a government.
I think you were clear. This is an investment.
Thank you for the unsolicited intervention. What I'm trying to tell you is that the physical infrastructures that you are pointing your fingers up to, hospitals here and there, they were all constructed or built by specific funding sources. Most of them were loans, and they came to Parliament. We passed them. the minister is talking about the current, recurrent expenditure, suppliers and all kinds of things that needed to be paid or needs to be paid. And these are accumulated debts that ought to have been cleared if the systems were working properly. He is volunteering information, and I think all ministers, all sector agency heads must be forthright and forthcoming. Yesterday, it was revealed in Kumasi that Ashanti region is reeling under heavy debt. Ashanti region, KMA, is indebted to the tune of about 51 million Ghana cedis, and is in court. And it is on record that when you come to Ghana, the 10 northern regions, Ashanti region comes to third, the worst road networks in the country.
10 northern regions. What do you mean by
that? The 10 regions of this country. Ashanti region is third, worst road network. So what are we talking about? I come to office, I meet assets and liabilities. Yes, that is true. The people of Ghana have put me in the office to work for them.
And
yes, it's
complain.
true. Not to complain, but
yes.
to let them know what is there.
You knew it before
How could we? You were managing the finances.
You said that.
You were in this. Please keep quiet and let me finish with my own. You were managing the finances. You were bringing the budget. Tekpe was the appointee of the then president. We did not control the finances. We were not collecting the taxes of the people of Ghana. We were not appropriating funds there. You were doing so. And Parliament gave appropriation laws to your government year in and year out. So if we come to office and we find something that we think the people of Ghana must know, we should tell them. The country does not belong to NDC, NPP. It does not belong to we, the politicians. It belongs to the people of Ghana, and we are accountable to them. He was just giving out information. This is what is happening in my ministry. This debt is there, and that is the reality. I thought we were going to say there's nothing of the sort. You admit that debt is there, but you want him to keep quiet and then continue working in that circumstances without telling the owners of the nation. No, you won't do that.
But as it is, he doesn't even have any choice.
The minister?
Yes.
No, he said
he's sector minister. So if this is what you've inherited, you've got to deal with it.
Yeah, we are going to deal with it. Read the thing. That is where the government is thinking through innovative ways. He said we need to have some kind of investment in there so we can solve the financial problems there. We will fix it, but the people need to know where we are and where we will get to.
That's fair, isn't it?
Yeah.
I saw what he was doing as complaining. He is seeing it a different way. I cannot fault him for that.
He did not complain.
But you see,
he was volunteering information.
We have been in this business. You've been in politics. He has been in politics for long. He should tell me which new administration comes into office and does not inherit the past administration's debt. It's not new.
It's not new, but people must know.
But isn't the expectation always that you don't expect to inherit that much? Sometimes you kind of open your mouth when you see the debt. You were not expecting.
When you say much,
you were not expecting 134.
When you say much, I thought you would have done some analysis to show that during the MPP they left small, but we have come to live.
I'm not doing comparison.
No,
what I said was, isn't it also fair that sometimes the person perhaps is not expecting to have inherited what he's come to inherit?
And that's why I'm saying that he's been in politics for long. Can he tell me that ever since he's become aware of governance in this country, there has been a particular regime having taken over the reins of government have not had to be saddled with debt? I want him to tell me.
Let me tell you.
Now,
let me answer for him.
No,
but you asked him, he is not here, and I'm his representative. I'm representing him. You put a question out there. Let me answer.
I think I'll now have to give you your own medicine. Keep quiet and listen to me.
Oh, please.
Keep quiet and
then don't ask the question. Then your question is irrelevant. You expect the man in his office to answer a question that you on the studio. I'm representing him. Allow me to answer the question.
Keep quiet?
No, let me answer the question.
I'm giving you back your own medicine. Keep quiet.
Let him withdraw the question.
I thought
Withdraw the question.
I thought we are both lawyers, and you know that you have your turn.
Withdraw the question.
I'm saying that I thought you knew that we take our turns here.
You do not want answer.
No.
You want answer.
No,
take
so
your
perhaps
turn.
let
When you
him.
take your
So,
turn.
Mr. Malaba, just learn for me.
Now, if you see, he has even derailed my thought.
Okay. So
Don't
I
get caught.
wanted
He
to
has
box
even
it up.
derailed my
I wanted to box this up with the last, with
has
you know,
derailed
with
my
the last issue where the senior minister Yaosafo Mafo is revealing that the Akufo-Addo administration will ensure that all, quotes, NDC government officials implicated in large-scale corruption scandals will be brought to book, unquote. He was speaking at the 25th annual MPP's Ashanti Regional Delegates Congress at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, and he said the NPP government, led by President Nana Addo, would take legal action against former government officials found to have misappropriated funds. Here's another quote that I want to read. We're going through papers. After that, majority of the NDC party corrupt officials will be prosecuted. We don't want to lose any case in court for accusing NDC officials as corrupt. Therefore, we're looking into some of their contracts to get concrete evidence. We inherited poor economy and debts, but we will not pay majority of NDC debts, because if we try to pay all the NDC debts, Nana Addo will not be able to do any development, unquote. So get ready. They are going through paperwork. They will soon be knocking at your doors. Mr. Malaba, you used to be part of the party's legal team. You should be getting ready for legal actions.
Nobody fears the court. We are always sleeping in the court, so nobody fears the court. But you see, one of the most vindictive persons is Osafo Mafo in this government. Very vindictive. When he speaks, you can see vindictiveness in him. If
that's what you see from what he's
that's
been
what I'm saying. I'm saying it now. He's very vindictive. If you are governing a country, are you interested in dealing with corrupt practices, no matter whose ox is God, or your target is NDC officials, former officials of the NDC? What about the boss issue? How about the Ken Bond issue? But you see,
what about these two issues that you've raised?
The bond issue, issues of conflict of interest.
Haven't they given you enough answers already?
When we gave them answers, I don't know why some of you, the media, you like doing that. So sadly, now that these people are in government, it's okay when they explain to us. But when we were in government and explaining, you never saw anything good about that explanation. Because as for us, the blood that flows in us is green. But for them, they are white, their blood is pure. Why would we take a person you are accusing of wrongdoings, answer for it? I'm accusing you of something. Oh, me, I'm clean. Then okay, let's all go and sleep. Since when has the MPP become security agents to investigate themselves?
What is it with the boss issue as well?
You don't know? Contamination and sale of fuel to companies that were not licensed to do that? And you think we should go to sleep? When it happens in the NDC, it's bad. But when it happens in the MPP, it's okay. So I'm saying that Osafo Mafo, as a senior minister, who is more or less like the de facto vice president, should be interested in dealing with acts of corruption, no matter whose ox is God. But not NDC officials. How about that? What does that mean? Those that he's targeting under the NDC are alleged, again, and the third time, are alleged to have engaged in acts of corruption due to the governance of, due to their governance of this country. The flip question now is, people are not governing now. How about their acts too? Aren't you interested in that?
But shouldn't you start from somewhere?
I am saying that this would have been, we will soon prosecute all corrupt officials, both past and present. And when you have a headline like that, you will not fault it. Because it's about murder.
So just the fact that he's talking about the NDC, that's where you have a problem.
That's the point.
But you're not disputing that some NDC officials may have been involved in some corrupt practices.
And I'm now going there. when you look at the invitation to Iyoko, what they do at Iyoko, I have to tell you now, because I know I'm a lawyer of the NDC and I know what's happened. They would invite you to Iyoko. They have no evidence to confront you with. Then they will ask you to tell them, Iyoko, your stewardship when you were in office. This is pair trolling, not deep sea fishing.
Which specific case are you making reference to?
I'm saying that most of the people they have invited there.
Such as?
Look, why? People have been invited there.
Yeah, but we don't know.
And I'm saying that most of them, you don't know who have been invited.
No, I don't.
You don't know the Cocoa Board has been invited. You don't know that a World Aqua has been invited. You don't know that, Madam Atuenu has been invited. And more have been invited.
And they didn't have any information they were seeking to find out.
Iyoko has no information to confront you with. They will tell you that you now tell them your stewardship in the office. How can you be doing that? How can you be doing that? And this is what he's talking about. This is what Osafo Mafu is talking about, that they are now looking in. They have not found any evidence of acts of corruption. So they are now looking into it. This election was fought, and they succeeded in hoodwinking the whole of Ghana, the people of Ghana, that the NDC was corrupt. One would have expected that by now, there would have been an avalanche of evidence 6 months down the line to show that this is what this person did, this is what this person did. You are now looking into it. So when you were accusing people of acts of corruption, you didn't have evidence. God save Ghana.
Mr. Kokofu, he has a point.
Yes, right? No, I'm surprised rather. He decided to deal with Nana Osafo Mafu personally instead of the issue he put out there. And I think it was not fair calling him the most vindictive person you know.
That's my view.
Yeah, and it's a wrong view anyway.
That's according to you.
He's a very lovable man, very astute politician, and he has served the nation to the best of his knowledge. I was there, and he made those things, those comments. And he was merely reacting to people's sentiments all across the country. You've heard people wanting the government to go into these kinds of past corruptive corruption that permeated under the NDC regime. And he was trying to tell all of us that, yes, of course, we would do. Nanado's government will do, but we need to be very, very, very prudent.
But who even created that impression in the first place?
A lot of people talking about last week, please wait for me. Last week, the regional chairman of Eastern Region, NDC, was on air begging Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the president, to prosecute.
We're not even privy to that. So give us, fetch us more information.
He come out to deny that.
Please. Oh, I heard him on radio.
So which radio station?
I will not disclose.
Why is that? That's not fair.
But it's fair.
Because we didn't listen to that.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
We didn't hear whoever speak on that.
A lot of people.
So it means you can't make reference to what we haven't heard, and you won't give us more details then.
A lot of people are calling for prosecution of corrupt officials, and you have soon forgotten. You remember Betty Moldy-Drishu when she was the Attorney General.
What has she done?
We will jail them. I will jail them. I have 46 cases on my table.
When?
We will jail the MPP corrupt officials. We will jail Kofo's people. Have you forgotten?
Oh,
so soon?
When was that?
It's coming back to you, and you know. And you know.
So you politicians just talk?
Just
to make your followers feel that you have a case when really you don't.
And indeed, she followed it up. A lot of people were lined up to the court, a lot of them, and they were all freed. You remember Ghana at 60, Charles Rekubrubi. You remember Asamoah Boate. You remember the NIB boss then. They all went through these ordeals, only for the courts to free them. Today is your turn. The spotlight is on your past government.
So you're basically just doing the same when you know you have
nothing?
Not
at all, not at all. What the man said, what the senior minister said, we are under rule of law. The law must take its course. We need to do prudent investigations. We need to have concrete evidence. And all that people are doing, investigative processes are ongoing. So just have patience. At the right time, these corrupt officials will be prosecuted.
Well, we wait to
And he
see.
says so.
We wait to see
So
what comes out.
what kind of vindictiveness is in this?
Don't worry.
Nothing.
We wait to see.
What are you afraid of?
Don't
worry.
But for today, we
accountability.
Prosecute.
Probity.
When we come, also prosecute.
Probity,
this is just to say
probity and accountability.
Dog.
Probity and accountability used to be your hallmark, and the former president J.J. Rawlings said they deviated from that kind of thing. Yeah, he said openly, publicly.
we wait to see, but
So
I
it's
guess the
coming back
legal
to
team will have to be ready for all the actions that are coming up. Thank you, Mr. Abraham Amaliba, who is a private legal practitioner, a member of the NDC, and its legal team as well. They should be getting ready for a battle, I guess. And Mr. Kwabena Kokofu is a private legal practitioner, a former member of parliament, and a member of the NPP, who is getting ready to unseat Chairman Wine. Okay. Stay with us. We've got a pension conversation.
Will you be campaign manager? Managers?
For who? For who?
Right?
She have enough money to pay me.
Yeah.
We have a retirement conversation to have. How to plan for retirement. Quite a good number of people are becoming self-employed these days. They start their own business. It's a good thing to do. But do you think about pension someday? Are you saving enough towards that? If you have a regular job as well, beyond what the company deducts from source towards your pension, do you have any solid plan? Is that even enough? That's why this next conversation is absolutely very important. Stay with us.